Hello and welcome to another edition of Oz Mining. I'm going to be doing a video just breaking down this rig here. I've been recently mining Pyrin algorithm to Unmineable and turning that into Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you, basically I'm going to be taking this rig apart. You would have seen a previous video where I have brought another 10 of these amazing ASUS RTX 3070 turbos, and I'm going to be doing a full 12 card turbo rig. It's going to look pretty awesome, I reckon. One of the reasons I'm doing it is I just want to get that rig all done, nice consistent rig. I reckon it's going to look awesome. Also, this rig has been playing up a little bit. I actually think I need to redo the USB stick and put a fresh image of HIVEOS on there. So just with that, and it's been a bit unstable, I think it's time just to decommission this rig, get all these cards cleaned up, and these will go onto some other rigs that I have planned. It will probably be in some more rigs like this there and over here. And yeah, so what I do, I'm just going to do a few videos. We'll break this down. We'll get the new, I have an Asrock, I think it's a Q270 BTC Plus Pro. So that takes up to 13 cards, and I'll be getting that motherboard here instead of this. Is a, let's have a look, what have we got in here? I think it's a Z590, MSI Z, or actually, sorry, Z390, apologies. So yeah, we'll be taking this one down, and I'll be using my sort of 100% mining, profit mining setup, which is using these lovely little Shelly smart switches to switch my rigs on in the morning. And then I'll be using the HIVEOS software to both stop mining, and then about 5 minutes later I'll then shut down the rigs, and that works really nicely to synchronize with my free power that I get versus my solar panels. So yeah, part one, I'll do a quick pause here and I'll show you shortly. I'll just start to get all these GPUs down here, and then we'll do some other steps, putting all the GPUs back up, and we'll have a big unveiling at the end, getting the new 12 card amazing turbo RTX 30 rig up and running. All right, watch this space, guys, coming back very soon. All right, guys, so just made a start, got one GPU off. It's this beautiful EVGA PX1. I think this is the black series, so it's just the standard series. If I show you here, it's not too fancy there. It's got no fancy backplate, but again, a really good card, really solid. They're actually a lot heavier than some of the other cards, like the Gigabyte cards. So yeah, definitely nice cards, and I've just got that one off. And what I just wanted to show you actually, and I just thought, let me get you into a little bit deeper inside how I do some things in the farm, is I have basically got two ways of setting up my GPUs. One, as you'll see down there, is onto these frames, and I've got some frames you can buy off eBay or Amazon and build out of aluminium, or I've got some of these frames down here that I've made myself. So over here, what you'll see is I have these cable tie, so it's basically a hanging rig, and I really like these rigs. It keeps the cards nice and cool, keeps them nice and safe, and also sort of, in a way, sort of softens any usage and just gives them a nice soft support, and seems to give them a nice life up here, even though I'm burning the hell out of them. But yeah, so this is my technique, and you see on the Gigabyte one here, I have two cable ties. So I just tie it over the top of the metal railings here, and then on the Gigabyte, and all cards are different, but you see here, I just put the cable ties through the holes there. If I do have some cards, like for example this MSI, this is a Ventus Trio, doesn't always have the right holes I need. So you see up here, if I just zoom in there, that one goes through pretty standard. These are all the same on the top there. But here I had to fashion, firstly, I either use a small cable tie here, so I've just put a smaller cable tie through the smaller holes, and then I use the bigger cable tie on top to secure it to the frame. Or sometimes I might just use a little bit of metal wire just to create like a little fashion, just like a little loop, and then put the cable tie on. But yeah, it's pretty simple. It doesn't cost anything. You know, I know you can buy these fancy GPU hangers and stuff, and you know, people 3D print them. But for me, for a few cents, these work great. They last forever, and also they're really easy to take off. I'll show what I do. is I basically hold it then, I get a knife and I will just put the knife into the little hole in the where the cable tie sort of does up, just loosen the little grip on there and it just all pulls out and you can reuse it again. So you can recycle it, it's really cheap, and that's just the way I like to hang my GPU. So yeah, just thought I'd bring you on that little point, show you a little thing behind the scenes, and I'm going to get back to getting the rest of these GPUs off, coming back soon. Okay team, here's the interim update. So making progress here. I've stripped off all the non-turbo GPUs, so I'm going to leave those two there, and they're going to be joined with 10 of their friends. I've just sort of laid all the cables out here from the ATX PSUs. I've got my server power supplies there. I may look to drop one of the ATX PSUs because I only really need one to get the rig fired up, and then I might drop in another server PSU. This server PSU here has actually just been used to power the Shelly Smart Switch. So yeah, so I might just have a think about how I'm going to configure the power to this new rig. These are 750 watt server power supplies. I've actually just taken, before Christmas, took a batch of a lot of 1200 watt of these server power supplies. So I might get one of those up and running on this rig. I will be then decommissioning this Z390 MSI motherboard, and I'm going to be dropping in the 12 GPU Asrock Q270 BTC Plus Pro or Plus, whatever it is. Yeah, and then I've got I'll just put this little table up here just to drop in some of the hardware that I'm pulling off. Got some risers there, four-way splitter, just some splitter cables as well. Here's a few GPUs we've just taken off. So we've got a nice, what's this here, Gigabyte gaming GPU, probably one of my most popular GPUs on the farm. These are all RTX 3070s. Got some of these MSI Ventus 3Xs here. I really like these. Maybe not for gaming, but definitely for crypto mining. I love this design where it's got this heatsink just totally exposed there. Really helps get some airflow through that and cool down the GPU. So I've got two of them that I've taken off. Got this monster fat Gigabyte Aorus 3070. I will say with this is it is a fat GPU, but I've never been that impressed with the fans and cooling overall, say compared to these MSI ones or even this Gigabyte gaming. So yeah, big fat GPU's got a hell of a heatsink on it, but never found it that amazing at cooling. But it is a pretty awesome looking GPU, and this area here lights up and it's got some graphics. So you know, I'd say that's probably more of a nice GPU for gaming. This is probably more, I'd say, better investment if you're crypto mining. And at the end here, it's a pretty basic GPU, but I do really like these. These are the Dell OEM GPUs 3070. I like them because they've got a single 8-pin power connector there, which is really great, versus if you look here with the Gigabyte Aorus, it's got two 8-pin power supplies. So, you know, just extra cabling that you need to think about. The MSI Ventus has got twin 8 pins, and a little bit different. We've got the Gigabyte gaming has got one 8-pin and one 6-pin. So yeah, various power connectors. But that's one benefit of this, it's only got a single one, so a little bit easier with the cabling. So yeah, just thought I'd bring you a bit of an interim update, and I'll come back soon. It's yeah, just I've actually got these lithium, these are RX 6600s running actually 24/7 now, because the lithium's really spiking. And whilst I do mine for what I call 100% profit mining using my solar panels, free electricity equals your revenue equals your profit, which is great. But at the moment I'm actually happy paying the electricity from the electricity company supplier because I'm still making a decent profit on the lithium at the moment. So yeah, so that's the update. I'm gonna now make some room, get the other turbos in here, and we'll start hanging the turbos. I'll try and figure out a layout that's going to work with 10 more turbos in there. And yeah, come back very soon, and I'll give you a little bit of update on this, how this rig's going. All right, cutting back in for a little deeper insight to some of the things I do in my mining garage. So you'll see here that I use these wire frames, get these from Bunnings, pretty cheap, and it's all around my farm, pretty consistent way to set up rigs. And I like these wire frames because it really lets airflow through, and there's not too many, I guess, blockers for airflow, which is really important when you have a reasonably small space and a lot of mining action. And I suck all my air out through the roof and pull cool air in down these vents. So having nice, good, smooth airflow is really important. So how do I put my motherboards on these? So I actually use a little bit of piping there. I think that it's probably about 15 mil piping. It's just plumbing piping. And what I do is I cut off the lengths that I need, and then I mark in the motherboard screws. Let's just get there. I'm marking the motherboard screws on the pipe where I need, and then I'll just use like a very sharp like skewer or a small drill, and just drill those little pilot holes in, and then I'll screw these in, and then my motherboard sits really nicely, nice and comfortable in those grooves. And it's a really cheap way just to get my motherboard sat slightly above the metal framing. Keeps all the airflow nicely, and like overall it's just a really cheap way to position the motherboard on the frame. So yeah, just want to give that little quick tip and insight there. And yeah, I'm actually just now going to take this motherboard upstairs. I'm going to unscrew these bits underneath, and then I'm going to attach the new Asrock 12 GPU motherboard to this. So yeah, so next time we come back, we'll have the new motherboard in there, and maybe a few more RTX 3070 ASUS turbos hanging up there. Okie dokie team, so we have some more progress. I have now taken off these tubular stands on my old motherboard, and I've attached them onto the new mining motherboard. So this is an Asrock Q270 Pro BTC Plus. I've got this over here running these 13 RX 6600s. Really smooth, really happy with these motherboards. I think if this goes well as well, I will probably invest and get some more of these. Good bang for buck at the moment, and you know, mining gear is still pretty cheap. We're sort of getting towards the end of the bear market, towards the bull market, so I feel probably the last chance to grab some bargains before prices start to skyrocket again. So what have we done? We've now taken away, I did have two ATX power supplies on this rig, but I've decided to go with one now, but I have more HP power supplies. Again, I've been picking these up for next to nothing in the bear market, so really happy with that. And I've got now, so I've got one ATX power supply, I've got two server power supplies here that will be turned on when this turns on, and I do have an independent HP server power supply which basically remotely powers up my smart switch, which means I can turn the rig on and off when I want to without being dependent on having the rig actually on. So I've got some other videos on that if you want to see that, but just sort of show you, I guess, the nuts and bolts of how the rig will be laid out before I start adding the GPUs on. So yeah, so that's the status update. What I'm going to be working on today is just starting to hang the other 10 RTX 3070 turbos up here. It is an interesting one from an OCD point of view. This is a 13 card mining motherboard, so I've got 12 of these, so 12's going to look nice and evenly laid out, but then on the other hand 13 will be a little bit sort of lopsided, but it will maximize my mining ability on this motherboard. I think the reality is I'll probably get this up and running, and if I can pick up one more of these ASUS turbos cheap, again before prices start skyrocketing, which I think they probably are going to be soon, I might just get one more and obviously maximize that motherboard. So yeah, so thanks for watching this quick update. I'll come back really quickly, hopefully have some GPUs lined up here and getting very close to switching on. Thanks for watching, coming back really soon guys. Okay, welcome back team. We are getting very close to a first power on, so I thought let's just go live with you guys and show you what's happening. I've put a sticker RAM in, I've finalised all the, I guess, power connections, Ethernet's in. I've actually flashed a new HIVEOS USB stick. Reason is, if you remember when I first started deconstructing the old rig with these GPUs on there, it was actually giving me a few headaches. It was crashing a few times. And one of my troubleshooting methods when a HIVEOS rig is playing up, and it could be various things. But I just reflash the USB stick drive. That often gets rid of a few problems. So that might not have been the problem, but whilst I was building a new rig, I've just done that. I've actually left the existing two RTX 3070 turbos up there, and those have been plugged into the motherboard. One thing you'll notice, if I've done this correctly with this motherboard, I really like it, is you'll see when it comes up onto the screen, you'll get green if the PCIe lanes have been activated correctly, and you'll get red if it's not working properly. One really important thing with these motherboards, and always read the instructions, I've got a few other videos on this, is make sure you do the auxiliary power on these mining specific motherboards. They often need a bit more power to power up all the PCIe lanes. So just make sure you read the instructions, because when I first did my rig over here, I didn't do it and I was getting lots of issues and errors, couldn't get all the GPUs up and running. So definitely A, read the instructions, but B, with these motherboards there are 1, 2 and 3 extra power connections. I think 2 on Molex and 1 is the SATA. A bit weird, but you just need to do it if you want to get all your GPUs up and running, otherwise they won't all have enough power. Got my Shelly smart switch there ready to go. I thought what I'd do is share with you guys, you can either use these amazing smart switches on a program and they run automatically, you can switch the rigs on and off, or you can do it manually. So what I thought I'd do, let's do a first switch on together. This could go very well or very bad. Let's just do it. So what you do, I've already got some presets in there. I will hit this button here. Oh, hang on, I pressed the wrong thing. So hit that there, pressed it, and there we go. I can hear a CPU fan spinning, lights are on, GPUs are spinning, and there you go, look, 2 greens there. That's the 2 PCIe lanes there, or those 2 cards, brilliant. If I switch this on and those 2 were either not showing green or one of them is red or both are red, you want to start to just check, have you set up the hardware correctly, maybe switch it off, have a think, have you got the auxiliary powers in, etc. But that was a good start. That looks like it worked okay, and HIVEOS is already booting in, jumping onto the USB stick there. I actually haven't done any BIOS modding on this motherboard, and I probably don't need to because it is mining specific, so you don't have to do things like, you know, the 4G coding and allow for the mining like you do on the gaming motherboards. This is pretty much good to go. And yes, that looks like a good result, team. So we've got the 2 GeForce RTX 3070s in there, 8 gig up and running, using 11 watts and 6 watts respectively. No log for miner. That basically means I haven't applied a flight sheet, which makes sense. I haven't done that yet. So this looks promising, guys. The new rig is up and running, albeit only with 2 GPUs. But like I said earlier, that's a good way. If you're building a rig, don't go all guns blazing, put all your GPUs on. Or look, you can if you really want to, but I generally like to get a few on, make sure things are working okay. I might now put on maybe another 3 or 4 GPUs, make sure that's working okay, and then just build it up in maybe 2 or 3 installments. So really good start, guys. I'll pause here and I'll come back. I'll get a few more GPUs on, hopefully switch it on, and we'll see more green PCIe slots up on the screen. Okay, coming back very soon. Oh, it's a hot day out there today, guys. I just thought I'd bring you update how we're going. Let me just get the light on in here. There we go. So have a look at that, guys. We have 6 of these beautiful RTX 3070 Asus turbos. Since I spoke to you last, I had 2 on originally. I got another 4 on there. They went on reasonably easily. I did have 1 GPU, I think, at the back, which kept crashing, said like an error. It was coming up here, you know, it was like an NA, you know, it was crashing. It was running for a bit. Again, I wasn't sure, you know, maybe these GPUs, one of them was a bit duff. I, you know, brought these second hand. What I did though, and this is kind of normal, I guess, troubleshooting with GPU rigs, is the first thing I did, I actually just played around moving the PCIe slot to another one, and it still failed. So then what I did, the next normal thing I do is I actually just replaced the PCIe connector there, and then also the USB going up. No, actually, apologies. I replaced everything. I did the riser, the USB, and the bit that goes into the motherboard there. I replaced that, and I think it's down here. So I'll put that on the test kind of pile, although generally they end up in the bin. And then look, it's been working fine since then. So that's now been running for actually about 3 days. So been a little bit of a break before I did the last video. Things happened, work, family. Also, this rig down here has been playing up a little bit. I've had it off now for a couple of days. I need to do a bit of deeper troubleshooting there. It's a Z390 motherboard with 10 gigabyte gaming RTX 3070 in there. It's been running perfectly for probably well over a year and just giving me some headaches. I think what's happened, and it's happened a few times before, I think the motherboard has done a reset, and I need to go back into the BIOS and redo like the 4G coding, just allow it for the right settings for mining, because at the moment it's switching on and straight off. So I think it's had a motherboard reset. So what I'm going to do, and the only way you can get around that sometimes is just by removing most of the GPUs, so the motherboard will just switch on, because otherwise, without doing those setting changes, there's just too many PCIe lanes used and it just goes into default shutdown mode. So I'll whip out a few of the GPU, the PCIe slots. I'll try and just leave one GPU in there, get into the BIOS, fix the BIOS, and then it should all run again. If not, well, we'll have to go a little bit deeper and I'll keep you posted on that. Anyway, this is not the point of this video. It's really giving you an update on the 12 ASUS Turbo rig that we're building out slowly. So far, so good. It's been running really smooth over here. You can see it's hashing nicely. It's been running really, really well. I've got this on the Pyrin algorithm in a minute, but then I'm going to show you, that's a little clue, how I'm actually earning Bitcoin on this rig. So next video will probably be the last one. Actually, it might be the penultimate sort of little section, because what I'm going to do is I'll show the full rig running, and then I'll go up to the mining office and I'll show you my flight sheet, my overclocks, and how I'm using this rig to generate Bitcoin, and hopefully stack some Bitcoin as we get into this Bitcoin bull run, which seems like we've just started it and hopefully it continues. And yeah, it's good stuff. So it's a great time to be mining. Hope you're liking the video so far, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this rig finished. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again really soon. Hi guys, welcome to the Oz Mining YouTube channel. We have done it. The 13 GPU mining rig is up and running. It wasn't easy, but we've done it. So yeah, super happy. Let's have a look at the finished product. Well, I'll say almost the finished product. So there we go, there's 3 there, 6, 3 more, 9, and then you can see there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 13 GPUs up and running on the it's the Asrock Q270 BTC Plus Pro motherboard. Look, it wasn't easy, guys. You've seen other videos, we've been building it up, but I got to 6 GPUs pretty quickly. But to get all 13 working it took me probably 2 or 3 days to get it right. We had a lot of issues, particularly around the 10 to 11 GPU mark. We did a lot of things. We changed risers. I actually changed my PSU. I fed all of the auxiliary PCIe riser power points with the Molexes. I did them all separately. I really played around with different options there. I spent a lot of time playing around with the GPUs. Now you will see here, the plan for this rig was basically to have 12 RTX 3070 of these ASUS turbos. Now what I actually did is one of them I don't think worked. So you see over here, we have this turbo over here. I'm not sure if it's got a fault, so I'm going to take this off, put it on my test rig, check it out, see if I can get it working. It might be okay, and it was more the issues with the motherboard and BIOS, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I just took it off, and again, always with troubleshooting with GPUs, and this is why I guess our miners like mining. There are problems, and we have to troubleshoot. I just put a different card on there, and it seems to work. So at the moment, we've got 11 of these ASUS RTX 3070 turbos pumping along. Then I've got an OEM Dell 3070 and this lovely EVGA 3070 there. So I've made up the 13. with 2, I guess, imposters. Now, I was only going to go 12 of these ASUS turbos anyway, because I've only got 12 of them, but I got to the point where I made some progress and I just wanted to make sure I could get 13 GPUs on this rig. And it's funny because I've actually done the 13 GPU rig with exactly the same motherboard before, and I'm actually going to make a separate video, and I've noted down all of the tweaks I've done in terms of motherboard setup, the BIOS, and all the settings just to get it right. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. Online, I can't see a lot of really sort of specific walkthroughs of this motherboard to get it up and running. So a couple of things that I found I had to do was I definitely had to reflash the BIOS to get that correct. Then I had to play around definitely with the PCIe settings, get to the Gen 1 PCIe settings. And then yeah, I just played with a few of the nuanced settings on the motherboard along with the flash BIOS, and I seem to get it working. Often with these motherboards as well, you sometimes have to play around with the different cards in different slots. Sometimes it just doesn't work just for no real reason. You'll switch over the PCIe risers and it kind of works. So yeah, we got there in the end. I will do a separate video on the full BIOS walkthrough and setups to make sure that if you're doing this kind of rig with this motherboard, then you won't have as many issues as I've done. But anyway, you know what it's like when you get it done, you're super happy, and I'm feeling really proud we've got this rig up and running. So yeah, enjoy. Let's have a quick look at that. And what I'm going to do, I am going to test this 3070 Turbo. Hopefully I can get that up on there, and I'll replace it with the EVGA. Then I am going to try and look out online, and I think I just have to do it a little bit low CD, but let's get 13 of those turbos on that rig. It will look really, really sexy. So yeah, I'm just waiting to find a bargain now. Like my ethos of GPU bargains, you just got to wait, look for the deals, get ready to pounce. I have been buying most of my RTX 3070s for sort of just around the $200 mark, maybe even sub $200. I have noticed that GPUs are starting to pick up. Crypto is picking up a little bit, so as we see, GPUs are going to start to get more expensive, and I might have to start unboxing my RX 580s at this rate. But yeah, so I'm noticing GPUs are going up a little bit, so I might need to pay a little bit more of a premium for one final RTX 3070 Turbo than I did with these, but I think the set will just look really super neat. So yeah, we've done it, guys. And then I guess the final one is, and I've said at the beginning of these videos, how am I mining Bitcoin with these? Look, some of you have probably already guessed already. What I'm doing, I'm using the Unmineable software, and I'll put a link in down below. I've got a referral there, so if you like the channel and you want to use Unmineable, please use the referral. I'll get a cup of coffee out of it, so I'd really appreciate that. So how does Unmineable work? So basically, I am mining using the Pyrin algorithm, actually for probably 2 or 3 months since that algorithm and coin became available. I've mined some directly, and I've got some stashed away in a wallet, so that could be my route to become a millionaire if Pyrin kicks off. But what I've then decided to do, I've got enough of a bag of Pyrin that I'm going to sit on. I'm now using Unmineable. Pyrin is one of the most profitable coins to mine right now, particularly with these RTX 3070s and a lot of the NVIDIA cards. I'm mining this to Unmineable, and they are paying me out in Bitcoin. And I'm loving Bitcoin at the moment, so I really want to kind of build a bit more Bitcoin. It's $100,000 Aussie at the moment. It could be $100,000 US the way it's going. So I'm currently mining around, and it's pretty impressive, about 50 to 60 US dollars gross of Bitcoin every week, which for this rig, I think is fantastic. Like over 50 US dollars of Bitcoin a week. My power cost, I have a lot of solar panels, so during the day I've got 100% free power, and given the current yield and the price of the coins, I'm actually happy to pay for power from the grid overnight. So at the moment my power cost is around 10 to 12 US dollars a day, so I'm netting around, let's say, definitely $40 clean after power every week, and I'm putting Bitcoin into my wallet. So that's my strategy with this at the moment. I'll be really interested to see what you guys think about that. Mine is on the up. Hopefully the Pyrin price will increase, and it's kind of interesting. I'm almost hoping Bitcoin doesn't increase so much because I want to yield and stack more Bitcoin. The more Bitcoin goes up in price, that's good for the Bitcoin I have, but not for the Bitcoin I want to mine, because I'm getting less Bitcoin for the amount of Pyrin that I'm mining at the moment. But anyway, it's all good. I like to do more medium-term consistent mining, so I'll just run this rig the way it is for this foreseeable future, 2, 3, 4 months. I don't like to hop around too much. It's too much stress doing the overclocks. I just like to mine consistently. So unless a coin really drops out of favor and it's unprofitable, I'm going to stick with this current rig here. So yeah, really good guys. I really appreciate you following me on this build. It's been a bit of an epic build, but as with all things, it's great when you get there in the end. Yeah, appreciate any feedback, comments or likes down below. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to do a quick video just to show how to do all the settings exactly for this 13 GPU motherboard. And then I've got a lot of work to do in the rest of the farm. So yeah, watch this space. A lot of work coming. Hope you're all well. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon on the Oz Mining YouTube channel.